Welcome back to Big Herb the Nerd, and today we have another Who to Manage in FM18 video. Looking today at teams that have just gained promotion. Who are those teams that have gained promotion from a previous league? That would be an interesting one to manage. So they've just made it to the next stage. Can you keep them there? Can you keep them in whichever league they have made it to and push on either for further promotion or for some more glory, if you're in the Premier League, I suppose, some Champions League glory. So we've got 5 teams to look at today, ranging from the Premier League all the way down. So let's get into it. So the first team to look at is Brighton and Hove Albion. Had an interesting start to the season this year, haven't they? But they've just got into the Premier League. They've had quite a nice rise. They've taken their time about it, but they've made their way finally to the Premier League. They are now in the promised land. Can they stay there? These guys are going to be hot favourites to go down this year. So can you keep Brighton up? Can you keep them in the Premier League and turn them into a mainstay of the Premier League? A big team, a team that's supposed to be there. So let's have a look at the club. You will be taken over from Chris Hughton. You've got key player Shalotto as your key player. Let's have a look. The right back can play on the left as well. Decent stats. Only 28, so in his peak, got some decent acceleration if you're going to play some fast football. He only set up as defend, but yeah, could work well as a fullback on attack. And your hot prospect is Matouj. Again, another right back. So, I mean, you got 2 right backs. That's nice. Got some depth there. But if you can bring him on and get him into the team, that would be good. Let's have a look at the full squad though. So this is the team that has been kind of kept together since they came up from the Championship. You're not expecting too much from them, so you're going to be really trying to grind out the morale on this one. Definitely, as we know, morale is going to play a big part in FM18. This will be this will be the main challenge for Brighton, keeping the morale high, keeping the team together, and seeing if you can grind those results out, get those wins against the Premier League teams that you need to beat. And if we look at the history, they've had a couple of titles, but no big cups to their name. So you can put some Premier League titles in there, some EFL Cups, some FA Cups, and of course the European football. So you've got a lot to hope for, but that first season you're going to be trying to cement yourself in the Premier League and hold on with everything you've got to that Premier League prize money. But if Brighton, isn't your thing, I've got another team for you. So let's have a look at Huddersfield Town. Another promotion to the Premier League this season, much like Brighton. You'll be holding on, not so much, not tipped, sorry, for relegation as much as maybe Brighton will be. But again, that will be the main challenge, is to hold on to the Premier League. Now you are in it. So let's have a look at the team. You've got Matthias Jorgensen as your key player. Decent centre-back, not great, could do better. And Jordan Williams is your hot prospect, very good right back. I've used him extensively in this year's game. So yeah, if you can get the most out of him, he will turn into something quite good for Huddersfield Town, I believe. Let's have a look at the full squad, see if anyone jumps out. Again, another team that's been pulled together and held together since the Championship. You got Tom Ince in there, getting on a bit now, I think. Oh no, 25 still. Decent, if you can keep him running, that'd be decent. Again, it's going to be a morale challenge here. You're going to need to keep the players together, keep the morale high, and try and grind out those wins wherever you can get them to just get yourself enough points to stay up in the first year in the Premier League, and then push on after that for some bigger trophies. Let's have a look at the history. They had some Premier League titles a long time ago, FA Cup, but other than that, it's a fairly empty cabinet. You can go and fill that up with some European competitions and some more Premier League titles. That's what you've got to aim for if you can stave off relegation in that first season. If you're done with the Premier League, you're saying, I don't want a Premier League challenge. Alright, I've got some Championship clubs for you. So the first one is Millwall. As a West Ham fan, I mean, it's a bit weird talking about Millwall. But yeah, Millwall have just come up to the Championship. Back in the Championship. They've spent a long time in the Championship. They never got up, or haven't in a long time, got up to the sort of top tier. So you need to get them there, right? This is the challenge. Can we keep them in the Championship and actually build this club into a sort of Championship winning side, and then a Premier League mainstayer? Let's look at the players you've got in. You've got your key players: Jed Wallace, right winger, fairly decent stats for a 23-year-old, and Ben Thompson, your hot prospect, good central midfielder, good stats already for a 21-year-old, very good mental stats. So I am good, and look at that, pace and stamina. He'll be a very, very good central midfielder. Build a team around him for a long time. But can you, that's the challenge with Millwall. Can you keep them up? Can you keep them in the Championship? Can you build them on there? And then can you build a team that can challenge for, the top spots of the Championship and get them into the Premier League? They've floated around the sort of Championship and League One for so long. Can you kick them out of a rut and get them into the Premier League? But of course, after you've held on for that one season in the Championship and staved off the relegation threat. No real big cups in their history. So it's there for the picking. Can you get in and get a Premiership title? Can you go and get some FA Cups and EFL Cups? And can you get them into Europe? I think they'd enjoy that very much, wouldn't they? Especially if they got there before West Ham. So that was Millwall. I've got one more Championship club for you, which we'll have a look at now. And it's Bolton Wanderers. Back in the Championship after their fall from grace. So, I mean, we've covered these before in the Fallen Angels. These guys have a lot of history. They used to be, remember the JJ Okocha days, and the Big Sam days. They used to be right up there. And can we get them back? They're back in the Championship. Can you keep them in the Championship? Because they've come on quite a rise since dropping all the way out of the leagues. So the challenge really is going to be to keep them where they are in the Championship before building on to push towards the Premier League. Let's have a look at the key players here. So we've got Craig Noon. Winger on the left, can play on the right as well. Fairly decent. Nothing to write home about. And Jake Turner, the hot prospect in goal. Could turn out to be a very, very good goalie if you can get them into the first team enough. But you'll be looking to build a team. Trying to keep those guys together that got you promoted, but adding in for those positions where necessary. Nobody in the main team really jumps out as being an outstanding player. You've got those loanees from West Ham. If you can use those and then try and bring in some of your own players to fill in the gaps, that it will be the challenge, I think, for keeping you up this season. And if we look at the history, like we said, they've got the FA Cup titles in there. But no Premier League titles, no European football. So can you keep them in the Championship, push them into the Prem, and go for the big, big trophies? And if you're like Championship, again, not enough of a challenge for you. Okay, I've got one final team for you, and that is Portsmouth. Portsmouth, back up in League One, just come up after their triumphant fall all the way through the leagues. So they are now on a high. Can you take them and keep them in League One, cement their place, and then start to build? This would be a great team for doing a bounce back. They've got the League 2 promotion. Can you just knock off League 1 Championship and get them straight into the Prem as quicker as possible? The team's there to be built on. Like I say, when you're coming from this far down, you're going to need to add players. You've got Brett Pittman, 29-year-old striker, as your key player. Not bad stats-wise, but isn't going to last much longer for you. And Jack Watmore as your central defender, as a decent 20-year-old English central defender. Good hot prospect. I think could turn into something pretty decent. So can you add to your players to kind of fill the gaps, increase the overall quality of the team, and to try and fire yourself through the leagues? As we looked at the history before, they've got a pretty full cabinet, but with some Premier League titles and some FA Cups. European football is the aim here. Can you get them through the leagues and up into Europe? This will definitely be a longer challenge, unless you can really back-to-back promotion and get through. I know I won't be able to do it. That wraps up this episode of Who to Manage FM in FM18, and we've been looking at promoted clubs, recently promoted clubs. So I hope you have got some ideas from that, picked up some challenges. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. If you have liked, hit the like button. Please subscribe to get more of these videos in your inbox. Otherwise, I shall see you next time for another video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.